So we thought, oh, we'll go with the church boy. We'll go with MC Hammer, but he was the most gangster one of all of them.
I heard about it.
While MC Hammer, along with his rapping career, shared a fair share of gangster activities, one would have never pegged him for a gangster. But guess what? It appears he was recognized in some circles as the most feared thug of his time, even more dangerous than Suge Knight. But the question is why? What are his past stories? You are about to find out. American rapper, songwriter, dancer, and record producer Stanley Kirk Burrell, best known by his stage name MC Hammer, had a challenging upbringing in a financially disadvantaged neighborhood in East Oakland, California. He grew up with several siblings and experienced the hardships of living in an environment plagued by drugs and crime. His parents separated when he was just 5 years old, leaving only his mother to raise them. When questioned on how he managed to stay clear of the illegal activities in his surroundings, MC Hammer attributed it to his deep love for his mother and his determination not to let her down.
Fame is a double-edged sword, and very few people can really deal with fame. If you were given a choice between fame and fortune, take the fortune. As
a young child, MC Hammer found ways to earn some extra money by hustling tickets from the Oakland A's baseball players and reselling them. He was already well acquainted with the sports scene thanks to his older brothers who held jobs with the team. In addition to his ticket-selling venture, he would put on impromptu dance shows in the parking lot accompanied by his trusty radio, showcasing his early passion for dance and entertainment.
In 1978, during the disco era, in my city, one of the hot things was suits from the 40s and 50s.
One fateful day, the team's owner, Charles Finley, happened to spot MC Hammer and was impressed by his talents. This led to a remarkable opportunity for Hammer as he was hired as a clubhouse assistant at the remarkably young age of 9. His dedication and hard work left a lasting impression on Finley and the team, ultimately propelling him to a vice president position within the organization during his early teenage years.
As the assistant to the owner of the team, whose name was Charles O. Finley, and I was made the youngest executive vice president in America.
Baseball also played a crucial role in shaping MC Hammer's identity. Oakland A's outfielder Reggie Jackson observed how much Hammer resembled fellow outfielder Hank Aaron, whose nickname was the Hammer.
It was Reggie Jackson who gave young Stanley his nickname after Hammerin' Hank Aaron. The transformation into MC Hammer had begun.
After completing high school, MC Hammer embarked on his college education at a local institution, but soon grew disheartened with the experience. Subsequently, he made the decision to join the military and served in the Navy for several years, receiving an honorable discharge. During his time in the military, he collaborated with a roommate to create various music demos right in their barracks. After his military service concluded, MC Hammer spent a period as a member of a gospel hip-hop group known as the Holy Ghost Boys. This diverse journey ultimately contributed to his multifaceted career in the music industry.
I opened up the American Music Awards with Do Not Pass Me By.
Despite his spiritual calling, Hammer was never shy about enjoying the material rewards of his rap.
MC Hammer pursued his passion for music by securing a substantial loan from a couple of former Oakland A's players. This financial support allowed him to establish his very own record label, which he named Busted Productions. Under this company, he founded Bustin' Records, an independent label where MC Hammer assumed the role of CEO.
Now, I want to get the glove. The glove would be like the prize,
right? Like the passing of the torch, maybe?
Yeah, well, you know.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, but...
Rebranding himself as MC Hammer, which stood for Master of Ceremonies, he recorded his debut album titled Feel My Power and released it independently in 1987 on his own label. This marked the beginning of his music career and his journey towards becoming a renowned figure in the music industry. Through sheer determination and hard work, MC Hammer achieved an extraordinary feat by selling over 60,000 copies of his debut album. However, his major breakthrough occurred in 1988 while performing at a nightclub in Oakland. He caught the attention of a record executive who was thoroughly impressed by his talent and subsequently offered him a multi-album contract with Capitol Records. He recalled in an interview, "I was a student at the time, so I'm like, I can't even conceive what $10,000 looks like. I don't even think I can spell it." Literally 10 minutes later, the phone rings and the guy goes, "Hi, is this MC Hammer? I'm calling from Capitol Records." With the new deal, MC Hammer reissued his first album, this time titling it Let's Get It Started, and adding additional tracks. The album featured popular singles like Pump It Up, Turn this mother out, they put me in the mix, and the title track. His third album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, was released in February 1990 and included the chart-topping hit You Can't Touch This, which sampled Rick James' Super Freak. This iconic song further solidified MC Hammer's status as a prominent figure in the music industry.
Can't touch this. Yeah, that's how we living, and you know, can't touch this.
Regrettably, MC Hammer faced legal troubles when Rick James sued him for copyright infringement regarding You Can't Touch This. The lawsuit was eventually settled out of court, with Hammer agreeing to credit Rick as a co-composer. This arrangement meant that Rick James was entitled to a share of the substantial earnings generated by the record. I put a very operatic vocal structure on it because I'm really into opera, James told Musician magazine. You probably hear a lot of that in my music. However, this wouldn't be the only time MC Hammer found himself in legal disputes related to copyright issues. Despite these legal challenges, MC Hammer continued to experience success in his career. He had hits with a cover of The Chi-Lites, Have You Seen Her, and the song Pray. This project, along with his other successes, earned him the distinction of having the first hip-hop album to achieve diamond status, a significant milestone in the music industry.
Love that my heart has been searching for so long.
In 1990, a movie with the same name as his album was produced to accompany MC Hammer's music. During an interview with Maria Shriver in the early 90s, Hammer revealed an interesting tidbit about his career. He had insured his legs for a staggering $10 million, a precaution to protect the asset that kickstarted his success.
I guess they were put there for me to select if I want to wear any of those tonight. I see a candidate over there.
You do? What are you going to wear?
It seems to me that green sure would show up pretty nice.
Despite his remarkable achievements, not everything in MC Hammer's career was smooth sailing. He faced criticism for the repetitive nature of his lyrics, his clean-cut image, and what some perceived as an over-reliance on sampling in his music. Additionally, he became the target of mockery in songs and music videos by numerous artists. It's worth noting that some of these disses were responses to perceived insults initiated by Hammer himself.
They asked us what we think about MC Hammer, and we said, you know, he can't rap. He's not a good rapper. Great entertainer. He's a great entertainer, but he can't rap. You know what I'm saying? You take away the jumping around.
At the peak of his career, MC Hammer was far from being considered a gangster rapper. His trademark parachute pants, meticulously choreographed dance moves, and pop-oriented records set him apart from the gritty image associated with many hip-hop artists at the time. Consequently, he often became the subject of jokes and was labeled a sellout by some of his peers. His image was so firmly established that when he attempted to adopt a tough guy persona on his 1994 album, The Funky Headhunter, he faced skepticism, with some perceiving him as insincere in this transformation.
And he's not even doing the fake rap that he do. He got his homeboy screaming all his vocals, and he's just jumping around, you know what I'm saying? So, okay.
In reality, the Hammer who charmed the world with his friendly smile was a skilled showman. One of his fans wrote, "As a Bay Area native, I was a diehard Hammer fan. He brought excitement, showmanship, and mainstream diversity to hip-hop at a time when it was extremely taboo. I appreciate him for going against the grain in spite of the backlash. Thanks for the great video, he was a hip-hop superhero to me." Another one added, "Hammer is one of the realest rappers to ever do it. He was attacked by his own peers who were envious of his fame and talent. 99% of all rappers don't have a track record as spotless as him. But Stanley Burrell, the man behind the stage name, possessed a toughness that shouldn't be underestimated. This fact became evident in an encounter that the rapper, Redman, had with MC Hammer. In 1992, MC Hammer was undoubtedly the most commercially successful artist in hip-hop. His 1990 album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, went on to sell 22 million copies, while 91's Too Legit to Quit added an additional 5 million to his impressive sales figures. His immense success and his more mainstream-friendly style made him a target for criticism from purist MCs. Redman was one of many critics, and he expressed his views on MC Hammer in the Funky Uncle skit from his debut album, What? The Album. During the 1-minute interlude, Redman can be heard saying of Hammer, "He ain't S. Hammer ain't doing nothing for us. He ain't S. You ain't S. His mama ain't S. His daddy ain't S. Ain't nobody S." Red became animated in recalling Hammer's response to the record, telling Vlad, quote, "That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all mother effers laugh and y'all joke about Hammer? No, 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 no. That guy was deep. Anybody who talked Come to the Bay Area, they was in for it, cause we seen it, I seen it, and he was very serious about beef. Oh, you gonna talk about my dancing pants? I'll see you, and he would whoop a guy out. In a 1994 interview on Rap City, MC Hammer mentioned that he had heard the skit Funky Uncles by Redman and it didn't sit well with him. He expressed his displeasure by saying, Redman, when he came out with his album, he had a little skit on the front of it that says something about Hammer. So to me, he's just another young upstart, so I addressed it on the album and put him in his place. A year later, Redman found himself face to face with MC Hammer, 3 years after releasing the skit. It was evident that Hammer hadn't forgotten or forgiven the words from the skit. Redman recounted the encounter saying, that guy came up to me on Yo, MTV Raps during their last episode. He approached me and said, Red, I'm going to tell you something. You're young, but I won't allow anyone to talk about my mother. Do you understand me? Redman, recognizing the seriousness of the situation, responded, yes, sir. To provide context, Redman mentioned that before this encounter, the Hit Squad had been in the Bay Area and had almost faced a confrontation. He recalled, we were already in Oakland with EPMD and we almost had to leave quickly because they had people here, there, and everywhere. And it felt like we were boxed in. They weren't playing around and we had to get out of there. Returning to the confrontation with Yo MTV Raps, Redman further explained, he shook my hand and said, you're a young artist and I appreciate what you do, but always remember I won't tolerate anyone disrespecting my mother. In recounting the events to Combat Jack in 2012, Redman was even more descriptive, saying, guys think Hammer's a sucker. Hammer don't effing play. Hammer don't play. He dances and he's very athletic and he'll whoop your ass. Red also noted how conciliatory he was at the Yo MTV Raps encounter, saying his response when Hammer expressed his dissatisfaction about Red's words about his mother was, yo Hammer man, you was big. Look man, I ain't got no beef with you my dude, you're an OG, I'm a young cat. Between September 1990 and 91, 3 notable hip-hop acts from Oakland, California achieved platinum album certifications. The first to accomplish this feat was Digital Underground with their album X Packets. In January of the following year, Too Short secured a platinum plaque for Short Dogs in the House. MC Hammer followed suit 2 months later with his album Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him. 2 of these Bay Area artists had signed with major record labels based in New York and, in Hammer's case, Capitol Records in Hollywood.
Making records before Hammer, but he came very shortly after and did big things. And I've always been an admirer of Hammer because of the way he did it.
Despite these artists running in overlapping circles, Too Short recently revealed a feud with MC Hammer during the late 80s and early 90s. Furthermore, the leader of the Dangerous Crew confirmed that he used some of his memorable singles to diss his neighbor MC Hammer. During an appearance on the Questlove Supreme Pandora radio show, Too Short shared insights into his career. He reminisced about creating special request mixtapes, receiving support from neighborhood hustlers for his music, and building a successful partnership with Jive Records and executive Barry Weiss. In the segment titled MC Hammer, Too Short expressed his frustration at seeing Hammer receive more favorable media attention compared to himself.
Sometimes 10 years later, that favorite song, it was just that moment. It was great in 2005, but in 2021, we're not really checking for that song.
He describes the Oakland hip-hop scene in 1990, highlighting his longtime friendship with E40, who was making a name for himself in the neighborhood. However, when discussing Oakland's hip-hop landscape, Too Short's counterpart was MC Hammer. He remembers that MC Hammer was well known for his dancing skills and had gained popularity through his association with the Oakland Athletics organization. Many of Hammer's friends went to the same high school as Too Short, and he was familiar with the whole crew. However, Too Short didn't even know MC Hammer's real name at the time.
I've been numbing down my lyrics on purpose. My lyrics, they don't appear to match my intellect, but that's on purpose, because there's a genius in being Too Short.
Too Short recollects how Hammer and a guy named Ace used to dress alike and perform identical dance moves at clubs, drawing crowds and becoming popular for their dance skills. But Too Short had no idea that Hammer was involved in rapping until he released his song Let's Get It Started.
We were at odds, so to speak, at a young time, but it wasn't like violence or anger. It was more like just, the local competition.
As the story goes, one day, Too Short encountered MC Hammer with 4 bodyguards and an entourage of about 20 people. Someone inquired about Hammer's identity, and Too Short, feeling confident in his own popularity and fame, responded that he didn't know who he was and didn't care. He had heard about MC Hammer a few times, but had never connected the dots until someone finally clarified the situation for him. Short took umbrage with Hammer's overnight rap success, especially when his own presentation was focused on the word, above dance moves and sizzle. He became more famous for for acting famous, and then the music came with it at the same time. He walked in the door with 4 bodyguards and an entourage, and his first single was just coming out. Having him as an example, I'm like, I'm not doing that. Questlove asks if Short But Funky was aimed at Hammer. That featured this verse, quote, "You never catch me on the mic rapping a dance tune. I like it kinda mellow with the sound of the bass boom. The style is mine. I've been doing it for 10. You might say it's simple, but I'm making my ends. See, I don't trip on a punk cause I jack him. Too short plus the cuss words equals platinum. What would I look like dancing on a stage? I wave my hand and do it like the old days, but some dumb fool want to take it out of hand. With 50 million dancers in a big old band. That ain't me, I'm from the old school. Play the instrument, get the mic, and I'm cool." The guest confirms, "I was doing lines at Hammer. We all were. I had a lot of songs at Hammer and Hammer references," he continues. "So I'm saying shh like that in the record. We're down the streets from each other and talking little shh about each other to our mutual homies. There'd never be any friction cause they thugs and we're thugs and we all know each other. But Hammer would do stuff like sit on the couch with Arsenio Hall and say, 'Where are you from, Hammer? I'm from Oakland. How's hip hop out there?' He further said, 'Well, I'm the only rapper from Oakland. Like, I'm never going to be invited on Arsenio. You're gonna sit there and tell the whole effing world a lie?' Like, he would do like that, and that was his character. He poked, I poked back." Back in the day, Short admitted that he had his sights set on MC Hammer as a target for his disses, but he wasn't content with just taking shots at him. Artists like Third Base, the DOC, and LL Cool J were also in on the dissing action. It reached a point where they decided to really go all out against Hammer.
You know, Hammer was a big dog, man. He got respect in the streets. He came from a respected crew, and they handled business.
Louis Spurrell, Hammer's older brother, got wind of the situation and reached out to Short and his crew. He let them in on the fact that they had just come back from a grueling tour which had its share of troubles, including a tragic incident where someone lost their life. Louis was very clear when he said, "We didn't come home to deal with this nonsense." This real talk from his brother hit home, and Short and his crew understood the seriousness of the situation. So after the tension had escalated to its peak, it only took a phone call to settle the matter. Short later revealed that he now considers Hammer and his crew as family and friends.
I think that was probably where our whole little unwritten feud, our unadvertised feud kind of just went away.
Surprisingly, they even collaborated 15 years later on the team's It's Getting Hot remix, so what started as a feud eventually turned into a bond that stood the test of time. Later in the interview, Too Short says that his longtime musician and engineer Al Eaton pressured him to sound like MC Hammer. That, coupled with an air of disrespect, led to Short building the Dangerous Crew with Shorty B, Ant Banks, and Pee Wee, among others. That sound transformed Short's sound and likened him more to Parliament Funkadelic. Short also describes a frustrating relationship with rap media. "Early on, I made money. Early on, I'm famous as F. Early on, I'm rocking crowds. My self-esteem is way the F up there. I'm rapping and I consider myself nothing of a S symbol. I'm nothing. I'm me. I got money and I won't even fix my F teeth. It didn't bother me at all to be on TV with a F up grill. I'm like, I got a pool in my backyard and a Mercedes. I don't give a F." So I would look at the media's interpretation of all of hip-hop, meaning like The Source or something. But if you think these are the only artists that MC Hammer has had run-ins with, think again. The MC has also messed up with one of the biggest moguls of the industry, JayZ. MC Hammer released a rap diss targeting JayZ, which featured a video where a lookalike of the Rock Nation chief is chased through the woods by a devil-like character. In the video, MC Hammer appears to address the hip-hop mogul, issuing threats of knocking him out. However, in a surprising turn of events, when the JayZ character encounters MC Hammer by a lake, he manages to fend off Satan and is then symbolically baptized by his hip-hop rival.
Let's go. Let's go.
The motivation behind this diss track initially seemed to stem from a JayZ rap on a Kanye West track that referenced MC Hammer's widely known financial struggles in the mid-90s. However, MC Hammer revealed that his feud with JayZ was primarily rooted in JayZ's past use of Christian imagery and themes in his lyrics and music videos. In the interview, MC Hammer, who was an ordained minister, specifically points to JayZ's tracks, On to the Next One, and Empire State of Mind, as being particularly offensive to his religious beliefs.
That made the Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee king.
As previously reported, JayZ refused to be drawn into a beef with Hammer, telling BBC One Extra he wasn't aware the 90s rapper's financial woes were off limits. He added that he had lots of respect for Hammer and that he says so a number of times in his upcoming new book. But nevertheless, Hammer reckons he's won his beef. He rambles on, quote, "I am declaring victory because it The diss video showed a whole lot of people who were not aware that Jay's dissing of Hammer's faith is how you are getting down. Who knew it was possible to beef so much with many big artists of the industry and still maintain a respectable place? MC truly proved that he was the real gangster of the industry.